I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity, that place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Today is one of those dreadful days looked down by upon many here in the National Football League, ladies and gentlemen. Nearly 1,200 people lose their jobs today in the world of football. Roster cut down days, rosters trim just about in half from the 90-man mark to about the 53-man mark. Obviously not quite half, but damn near there, right? Close counts and horseshoes and hand grenades. So we got a ton to talk about today. It's a whirlwind of emotions for Bucs fans out there. Bittersweet type of days these seem to be. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring in the great J-Lo himself to talk about all of our roster moves and more. You guys are tuned into the Buccaneers with Tampa Tones and the great J-Lo. As BB King says, Bucs got younger at long snapper. Yeah, that's definitely going to be one of the topics and players we talk about. J-Lo, how the hell you doing, brother? Long time no talk.
Doing great, my man. Like I said, all the cuts were made, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, there were some surprising cuts, but at the same time, it's a business, and I believe in Jason Licht and Todd Bowles, what they're trying to put together.
Oh, I'm all in on Jason Licht and Todd Bowles. I don't doubt anything these two individuals do. Moves. I think they make a ton of great moves year in and year out, and here they are. I think they've constructed a great roster, and we'll get into that here right now on the Buccaneers with the great J-Lo Tampa Tones. Emad, our guy, saying Stunna. Yeah, we're looking for Stunna too. It's like a Life Alert or Where's Waldo. Put him on a milk carton.
Stunna like my daddy. Stunna like my daddy.
Yeah, where the hell's Stunna been? Yeah, who knows? I know he's heavily helping the youth in football, though, which is always a great thing. So shout out to Stunna for helping keep the youth involved in the world of football. My guy, Christopher Cole. Evening, fellas. Let's fucking bake. Thank you so much, Christopher, for the follow on Twitter. I followed you right back. You're a great one. So I made sure to follow you. I'm like, I got to follow my guy, Christopher, right here, right now. No ways around it. Just like no ways around roster cuts, sadly, J-Lo. You got to make them. They got to happen. These are things that, for better or for worse, need to happen in the NFL. And for better or for worse, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, please hit that like button. Please subscribe and turn that notification bell on. So every time the great J-Lo, myself, Gene, whoever the hell it is, goes live, you guys can be the first to know about it and join us so greatly. So, J-Lo, couple of things. It was a 4 o'clock Eastern deadline to get your rosters to 53. Interestingly enough, the Bucs are at 53 yesterday, the first team to make it to the 53-man mark, and it kind of gave Jason Licht the chance to get a 24-hour grace period to reevaluate the Bucs 53 while matching it up with other teams' roster cuts being made. Veterans could sign right away. Young guys go through waivers, could get claims. So, J-Lo, thoughts on that? I think it's a brilliant maneuver here on general manager Jason Light's behalf. He's continuing to play chess while the rest of the guys play checkers, as he's able to kind of oversee free agency and maybe, even if it's minimal, upgrade this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team.
Couldn't agree more. I think it's a great move, to see him get ahead of the game yesterday, to get all the cuts done. Now him and his scout team can go in there and look at some of these cuts from other teams and possibly bring on some of that talent, because there's going to be some talent picked up for sure. So I'm looking forward to seeing if Licht made some moves to improve this roster even better.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. A lot of first-round picks from years past are getting cut around the NFL. There's a lot of talent out there. Again, they're getting cut for a reason, right? Whether it's money or poor performance, there's a reason why many of these individuals get cut. So in order for the Bucs to want to bring a guy in, they got to prove Jason Licht. Otherwise, they got to prove why they work out for this team, why they fit this team. You never know if Jason Licht has his finger on speed dial for trades. Around this time, couple of years back, they did trade linebacker Grant Stord, J-Lo, and Bud Cannibalist says, my biggest surprise was we only kept 5 wide receivers. Are you surprised by that at all, J-Lo? Personally, I'm not, just because when you look at the roster, it's interesting to see it as whole, right? And to me, the Bucs built this roster a certain way, tight ends, running backs, O-linemen, that sort of stuff. I think we're going to see a lot of interesting, unique pass formations disguised as runs. A lot of different tight ends on this roster, a lot of young tight ends on this roster, J-Lo, and that's why I think, at least for now, again, the roster's fluid, but for now, the Bucs are electing 4 tight ends and 5 wide receivers, opposed to 6 wide receivers and 3 tight ends.
Well, you got to remember this. I mean, 5 receivers, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you got to think the 6th receiver, you know, can they play special teams? Can they even see the field? You know, do you think they're going to put him in over a Mike Evans or a Chris Godwin or even a rookie from Washington, McMillan? No, you wouldn't see that. Hopefully they'll make the practice squad. And I like the fact they kept 4 tight ends because I think O'Keefe is a good special teamer for one thing, which we need as well. Special teams is important. But as far as 5 receivers, I'm fine with it. You know, Cam Johnson, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with him. Obviously, they're going to put him at kick returner, obviously, and maybe use him in some reverse roles. I mean, the sky is the limit for what Liam Cohen's putting together with
Love
this
me some
offense.
Liam Cohen.
Absolutely. I mean, from the game itself, man, I mean, I'm just excited to see what he's going to throw out there this season. I mean, this is a much better Bucs team this year than last year, in my opinion, as far as that goes.
And Godwin's healthier this year as well.
And they're putting him back in where he dominated in the slot. That's where his best plays were, in my opinion. You put him in the slot, utilize him more. I mean, I think Godwin's in for a big year going back to the slot to where he's going to look like his old self from like 2019 to 21.
Yeah, and Godwin still, even though he gets a lot of hate, discredit, a lot of complaints lately for whatever reason, he's done incredible in terms of, if you go back to 2021, I believe it's 2021, he's like top 5 receptions in the NFL or something like that. Last year he came through with some clutch plays, including a clutch rushing touchdown, which clinched us a game. So I'm a big Godwin guy. I'm not opposed to 5 wide receivers. It is maybe a little bit shocking, but we are 12 days away from Cannon Fire. So speaking of 12, if you're watching, hit the subscribe button. Maybe we'll get 12 new subscribers throughout today's show. Lucky Lucy says, good evening. Hi, how you doing, Lucky Lucy? Thanks as always for joining. One of the best in the business. Our practice squad may be our best ever. J-Lo, thoughts? I kind of feel like every year, you know, not to discredit BB King, I do agree with him, but I do kind of feel like there is some recency bias with the practice squad, only because you get attached to a lot of guys throughout training camp, OTAs, preseason games, scrimmages. The next thing you know, you see these guys get cut. You think that's a little bit of recency bias, or do you think, hey, this could be maybe your best practice squad ever?
It really depends. There's pros and cons to it. Like, if you bring back some of the talent that got cut and released, the way I look at it is they know the playbook. You know, if you bring in Kevin Deloach, if you don't get scooped up, or Vi Jones, you know, one of those linebackers, they know the playbook, so I'm all for it. As far as the best practice squad ever, I mean, we'll see. It just depends. You know, injuries happen. But at the same time, hopefully we'll bring some of these guys back to the practice squad. Maybe a Sterling Shepard if he wants to keep going with it. You know, as far as his career goes, you know, pull, you know, Rashad Perriman or a David Moore type, you know, practice squad, work your way on the roster. Cody Thompson, I think he looked
That was
fantastic.
surprising, right? Cody Thompson, Ryan Miller, Canoe. I didn't think Canoe would make it, but, you know, I at least thought maybe Cody Thompson would. But, hey, it turns out our great friend, well, not friend, but our great wide receiver talent, Cam Johnson, hopefully our friend too, he outshined the rest. Free agent rookie from Barton, J-Lo.
No, he did. There's something special about that kid. I mean,
And our
I've been
friend of the show, Michael Pless, he came on here and he called it right away. Remember that?
I think Pless was probably the biggest fan of Cam Johnson. Shout out to Robots Talk. They do a lot of good work over there. But as far as Cody Thompson goes, the way I see it is, could he play special teams? We don't know. But at the same time, he probably wouldn't see the field, because we're going to have Mike, Chris, McMullen, Trey Palmer. I mean, we got so much talent ahead of him to where why risk a roster spot by cutting one of our tight ends or cutting one of our linebackers or better yet, pass rusher? To me, I think Cody Thompson proved that he can be on an NFL roster, but our receiving room's just so talented, it's hard to really, keep him on the roster. So at least if he can make the practice squad, at least he can sit back and wait for his turn to come. But we'll see. I mean, tomorrow we'll be in for a surprise and see what Jason Light pulls for the practice squad.
Yeah, we agree with that here on the Buccaneers. Olivia says, thanks for making this long car ride and traffic on the way home from work go by faster. We appreciate you tuning in, Olive. One of the great lady fans of the Buccaneers. We love our ladies, especially Olive. Thank you very much. Cleve and me. Hello, podcast teammates. Yes. Speaking
Let me
of
talk to you.
Yeah, Joey Nips from Cleveland does join us every single Saturday. Be sure to kick off your football weekend right on the Saturday Showdown, our football pregame show, Bucs pregame, college football pregame, fantasy football pregame, breadwinner segment where we make our favorite bets of the sports world of the weekend to give you guys money. J-Lo hit a great one last weekend. J-Lo took Georgia Tech in the breadwinner money line, so we pretend like every bet's a $20 bet. J-Lo said, hey, take Georgia Tech money line. That would have netted you $78 if you listen to J-Lo. We went 4-0, though, and Joey won his bet. Joey had Brewers on Saturday. That hit. I won my bet, New Mexico spread. That hit. Gene won his bet, Delaware State spread. That hit. If you listened to all four of the Buccaneers bets last week, that would have netted you a lot of money. $138 to be exact. So don't be a stranger. As BB King says, Vi Jones will be up on the varsity once Servace gets hurt. That's the thing. It seems like Dennis gets hurt a good amount. We'll see if Vi Jones is the one they elect to go with down the road. Tyler, my great buddy of mine, game used collector, one of the best in the business in terms of game used collection, said, can I make an insert a post on this stream? Have a great show. J-Lo, a little bit of an inside joke. eBay, we all know eBay, a place to buy, or a place to sell, depending on it, if you're a buyer or a seller. But you can only list items, right? So I'm a Buccaneers guy. I look for Bucs things on eBay like a lot of people do. I'm searching Bucs memorabilia, and I stumble across a Baker Mayfield item for $10,000. But it's not even a Baker Mayfield item. Some dimwit moron out there made it, I'm looking for Baker Mayfield game-worn jerseys from the Rams, from the Bucs, willing to pay $10,000. That ain't what eBay is for, ladies and gentlemen. You see the craziest stuff out there, right, J-Lo?
Yeah, that's a little wild there.
eBay took that shit down so fast, they were like, nope, not today.
Not today, Satan. Out the door.
Out the door, indeed. 4-0 breadwinners. And again, every Saturday, we're going to give you our breadwinners or locks of the weekend, make you guys some money. Join us for that. The great JC Allen of Sports Illustrated says, sup, fellas, acknowledge me. BB King's all bricked up, says JC in the building. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. JC is in the building. But, J-Lo, I do want to get quick thoughts. Bucs being the first to 53, does that give us an advantage of any sort? If not, or if so, please do explain, my friend.
Oh, it gives us advantage, I feel. I feel like I mentioned earlier, it's going to give Light and his team a chance to go look at the other cuts and see if there's somebody that could help improve this roster. Yeah, they were cut for a reason, but like I mentioned about Cody Thompson played well enough to make another roster. Like another team could go scoop him, and he would probably be receiver 5 or 4, that makes any sense. But I think it's a good advantage. It gives Light and his team a chance to go out there and look. You never know. I mean, they were working out 2 punters, I think, yesterday. I'm just still trying to scratch my head on that one. But anyway, But I think it's a good advantage for the team to be the first ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's advantage for the team for sure to be the first ahead. You see who's cut, you see what you're working with, you get to look over your roster twice. If you like it, great. If not, you could make changes. And Jason Light once said, any upgrade is an upgrade, right? Any good depth upgrade is a good depth upgrade. So you should never be settling. If a team is out there and they could even make the smallest of upgrades, this is what I try to explain to people all the time. And they're like, oh, our roster's good. And this is all fans, not just Bucs fans. But ladies and gentlemen, if you could upgrade, even if it's the slightest a damn upgrade, you go make that upgrade. Ain't that right, J-Lo? And Jason Light will do that. But at the same time, he's not going to jump the gun and panic. He's going to sit back and see things great. I trust Jason Light. If we bring in a guy, great. If not, great.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm fine with what we have right now on the 53 roster, truthfully. So if Light feels like he can just sit back and just go with what we have, I'm all for it. If he goes at somebody, cool. That means he sees some potential and it'll probably help, win football games. Because I am a believer in, bringing in a player who was cut, who turned out better. I mean, look at Ernest Brown, who made the roster, and he got cut twice this offseason, and now he's on our roster. So to me, I feel like it's all about coaching and who you bring in to develop. And I think we have one of the best developing, teams in football when it comes to that. But we'll see. I mean, I'm comfortable with what we got right now with 53. Let's ride with it.
Like I said, I could go either way. I'm fine with our roster. There's not a guy on our roster, J-Lo, where I point him out and I'm like, if we could get rid of that guy. I mean, maybe a little thick at defensive backs, maybe a little much there, but at the end of the day, J-Lo, pretty much all around roster-wise, I think I'm pretty content. We're going to go over the cuts here shortly, though, and again, it's tough. We went from 90 to 53. We're going to be bringing you guys all the cuts here. We're going to announce all the cuts here in a minute, just in case you guys missed it or may have missed it. But speaking of missed it, we got our guy Gene in the house. Buc What Ya Heard. He ain't missing this. We know that. Gene, how the hell are you?
Heard.
Are you ready for some bear bracketology tonight, my friend?
I sure am, man. I got my list whittled down as well, and there are some final cuts in there too. So this should be a great show tonight.
It certainly should be a great show. I'm very excited to see what bear gets cut, what bear moves on. BB King, he had 15 catches in the preseason. I think he only has one reception in his NFL career, just to clear that up a little bit. It's a little confusing on ESPN. Hey, JC, yeet. JC's getting love out there. So
As well he should.
Yeah, he should, sometimes, especially on a day like today, though, with all the movement going on. It's really tough out there to keep track of it. And I'll tell you what, the two best in the business, Greg Allman and JC Allen, they did an incredible job of keeping us in the loop on these sorts of things and all of that stuff. So roster cuts, always tragic, never easy, but we will get to him here shortly. Couple surprises to be had, nothing insanely surprising, but there were a couple surprises. And one of those is John Wolford, but we hope to get him back. One of those is former Super Bowl champion, and we'll get into him here shortly. But we did lose a Super Bowl champ, not the most overwhelming of positions, but he's been battling on the Bucs since 2019. So to kick it off, here's who we lost, guys. Without further ado, we're going to go through it and go through the list of who the Buccaneers either waived or released. Cornerback Keenan Isaac, I thought he was incredible, phenomenal. He did not end up making the team. Let's hope to get him back on the practice squad. He had a really good preseason. Cornerback Chris McDonald, cornerback Andrew Hayes, no surprises there really. Bucs D lineman Mike Green played 10 games for the Bucs last year. He put his nose down and dirty, and then remember, he got hurt. We had to call in Deadrian Sanat then to play some reserve ball, but little shocker there in terms of longevity. D lineman and friend of the show, CJ Brewer. That one stung, fellas. I really thought CJ played good enough this offseason to earn a spot on the roster, but let's be honest, he could be a practice squad guy, and he could be back in business just like that, just like the snap of a finger. We could see CJ Brewer on this roster. Judge Culpepper, former son of Buccaneers defensive lineman Mr. Culpepper, he got the boot. He was kind of underwhelming. We didn't hear his name much in camp, sadly. I was wondering if that's to hide him for the practice squad. We'll see here if they do bring him back. Brandon Matterson gets the boot. He was just brought in last week. He kind of didn't stand a chance. Lowell Yaguak, we talked about him. He had a great preseason. We thought he was going to make it potentially, but the Bucs D lineman showed great. Kalen DeLoach from Florida State, Vi Jones, Antonio Greer Jr., Xavier Delgado, long snapper, Super Bowl champion Zach Triner didn't make it. He has been our long snapper since 2019, a Super Bowl champ here. Always depressing to lose one of those. Xavier Delgado, Brian Baldinger showed his love for Xavier, left guard for the Bucs. He didn't pan out. Avery Jones, O-lineman, did not make it. Lawrence Metz will remain on his international contract. Ryan Johnson didn't make it. Jay Pearson, Sean Peterson Jr., Daniel Griziak, Nolan Cooney, the punter. John Wolford, a playoff winning quarterback, didn't make the cut. He won a playoff game with the Rams. We hope to get him back on the practice squad. He could get gobbled up by someone out there, though. DJ Williams, Ramon Jefferson, a pair of UDFA running backs. Rashawn Wisdom, Marcus Banks, Tanner Tuala, Illinois State tight end. He didn't make it. David Wells, he played for the Bucs a couple times last year. I think 5 games active, but he got cut. Sal Cannella, UFL great, got cut. Cephas Johnson got cut. Rakim Jarrett and Chase Edmonds went to IR. Sterling Shepard gone. Raleigh Webb gone. Latrell Jones gone. Tanner Canoe gone. Cody Thompson gone. Kind of surprising there. So that's everybody, fellas. That is who the Bucs decided to keep, who they decided not to keep. Again, it's sad. It's fluid. It's a business. We don't like this, Gene. Thoughts on roster cut day? Anything surprise you? Anything intrigue you? Anything along those lines? You're muted, Gene, I believe.
Yeah, I muted myself.
No, you're good, brother. You were so excited. You wanted to talk. You were like, let's go.
No, I just wanted to say you got to trust the process. I know that these coaches have gone through painstaking efforts to get the best of the best going into the season. And I know that some of these people will get snuck back onto the practice squad so that they could potentially come up later on. I'm excited for this team. Of course, the coaches saw things that, of course, we didn't or we don't know. And, you know, they watched 10,000 hours more game film than we could ever imagine. So they've got a good handle on this. And you kind of have to trust the process. There are a lot of people that are out there that you're like, man, I wish he could have made the team. But we don't know everything. We just know what we've seen from possibly a practice or possibly, you know, what somebody word of mouth. But we don't know the whole picture that like what the coaches would see.
Yeah, and Gene, right before you hopped on, I kind of said the same because our great friend BB King, I love BB King, and he commented,
yeah, me too.
He's the man, but they commented, hey, our practice squad could be the best ever, and kind of to allude to what you were saying, Gene, kind of a recency bias thing, right? Because you get attached to these guys through the preseason, through training camps, OTAs, and all that, and then you see them cut, and yeah, it stings for now. But no offense, in a couple months, you kind of write it off and, you know, you do it all again next year, Gene. And it sucks to say it like that, but that's a part of the business for better or for worse.
Yeah, I was hurting about Kenny Bell, if you guys remember that. And I thought that guy was going to. And so that kind of humbled me and put me in a place where, you know what, leave it to the coaches. The coaches do their thing. And I'm just along for the ride. If somebody has a good preseason, maybe they get latched on to another team and get another opportunity. We just don't know. So to me, I'm good with the process, and just kind of have to wait and see how it all pans out. We're trying to get to a Super Bowl, so that's the goal.
That's the end goal right there. Hoisting that Lombardi by year's end. Bat W wants to see that. Says, sup, Bucs fans, sup, Bat. Brian, I'm good. Was just wondering when y'all would be on. Hey, well, join us, Brian. We're pretty much on every Saturday, every Tuesday, every Thursday for now, and then we'll see in the regular season if that morphs or whatnot. But join us when we go live. We love to have you, led by the great Gene from Buc What Ya Heard or the Buccaneers, either or. We love to see you guys around, as we are one and the same here. J-Lo, thoughts on roster cuts? Anything surprise you? If so, what did the most? And yeah, just give us a rundown on today in general. What did you like? What didn't you like? As we got the Godfather joining on Facebook as well. Shout out to the Godfather.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one I really was hoping to make the roster was, I believe, Haggard. He was a guard tackle. I think he performed well during the preseason. I know he was injured for the Jacksonville game, but between the Bengals and the last game against the Dolphins, I think he performed pretty well. But I know they're pretty big on school and Brandon Walden, because he could play 3 or 4 positions. So I can respect why they did that. Hopefully they'll get him on the practice squad as a reserve. I was hoping Banks and maybe
Banks
Wisdom.
put a lot of Dolphins on stretchers last weekend, man. He was hard
Sure
hit.
did. He built a clinic with those clean hits. Hopefully they'll get him on the practice squad as well. To learn the roster more, and maybe his number will get called. As a gunner on special teams. That's what I like to see, man. A good clean hit. Laying that wood out there without a penalty, and kind of letting the Dolphins know they'll go up the middle because I'm going to lay the wood on you. Simple as that. Brings back old school days, as a Bucs fan.
They will lay the wood on you, and we were wondering as preseason built up, what room out of running backs, tight ends, they would keep 4 in. We thought running backs showed well. Well, they kind of had the choice made easy for them fellas, as Chase Edmonds was placed on IR, but not only was he placed on IR, he's actually out for the season, as Greg Allman reported. So that stinks to see. Running back depth takes a minor hit there, gentlemen. Chase Edmonds is done for the year. Good thing we do have Bucky Irvin. Good thing Sean Tucker has looked pretty good. But Gene, thoughts on the Bucs losing a running back for the year? I mean, Chase Edmonds was hurt last year coming into the season. Seemed like it was going to be the same thing this year. But now not only is he hurt to start the year, we lost him for the whole year.
The best ability is availability, and I can't preach that enough. You know what you could potentially have with him, but unfortunately, we'll never see that. So it's going to end up being the next man up, and I am happy with the running back room. Let's see what they can do, and and the offensive coordinator, what can he do with that running back room to really improve them as well? So a lot of thought has gone into that.
Bud Cannibalist says, for the shoe. That reminds me of that one guy who's going around making those videos for the Colts right now. This is our year. This is our team. I don't know if you guys saw that guy, Gene or J-Lo, but he's been a hoot. We have Port Richie Lou. They got this bastard singing songs. So give me Port Richie. But this guy's a good runner-up, I will say, as Bud Cannibalist says, for the shoe. J-Lo, thoughts on Chase Edmonds getting cut down for the year? Unfortunate for the Bucs, but as Gene said, the Bucs did their job. They built up the running back room nicely. And in that case, hey, at least you could lean on, I hate to say it like this, but now Chase Edmonds is kind of a glorified running backs coach at this point.
Yeah, fortunately, his injury, he just can't skip the injury bug. I mean, this man gets hurt a lot, and I feel bad, because he's not a bad player. But for the most part, yeah, pick his brain, with the
like we did with Jensen that one year, remember?
Yeah, absolutely. But don't be surprised if we go out there and go snatch another veteran running back in that young group. I got a feeling Jason Light's going to go grab a veteran. I don't know who, but something tells me we like getting a veteran back in there to help, with the young butts we got in the running back room. But I'm confident what we got at the same time. So even if we didn't, I'm fine with the group we got.
And Ramon Jefferson, undrafted free agent, who the Bucs did waive for now. He went to Kentucky, so I wouldn't be shocked to see Ramon Jefferson come back on our practice squad. Liam Cohen coach at Kentucky. Ramon Jefferson played there. He had a decent preseason, so I think we even have backup plans to the backup plans, as Gene alluded to. We're in good hands. We're in good shape. Speaking of good shape, we're live on the Buccaneers. We're live on Buc What Ya Heard. We're mowing our way through preseason. Only about 10 days left of preseason, ladies and gentlemen. We have football a week from Thursday, regular season, NFL football, that is. We've had college football action last Saturday. A lot of fun there. So join us every Saturday. Gene, you hit your breadwinner. We talked about him, but you came through with Delaware State, man.
Man, and I was happy the Florida State lost. Yes.
The
Yes!
Seminoles. Week 1. J-Lo called that. I can't believe that still. But that was his breadwinner. But I mean, we did incredible. And Seminoles fans,
they can kick rocks barefooted for all I care.
You know what that killed,
Agreed.
Gene? You know what that
Agreed.
killed right there, though? And I hate to sound like this, but everyone who was crying about the playoffs last year, I know they're a different team. I know
Yep.
Jordan Travis is gone, but he wasn't playing in that playoff game anyways.
Exactly.
He was out for the year at that point. So everyone who kind of cried about Florida State not making the playoffs kind of can now and pack it in and move on a little bit for better or for worse. But anyway, speaking of better or for worse, before we get to Bear bracketology, we'll see what Bears continue to ride it out, remain on top. We just got to do something, guys. We got to give our kudos to the front office and Jason Licht. And I have a couple of things to point out that are holy fucking shit moments that are like, wow, the Bucs roster was constructed in this way? This is how it's built? I've had Bears fans kudosing Jason Licht, saying it's been impressive what he's done. It's been impressive what he's built. Couple of stats out there for Jason Licht haters. Number 1, 22 of the 23 players Bucs have drafted over the past 3 years made the Bucs 53-man roster initially. 22 of 23. Trivia question, who's the one that missed? Anyone? Andre Anthony, edge rusher out of LSU, as Gene will be back here in a minute. But Andre Anthony was the only one who missed, which was a 7th-round pick 2 years ago, edge rusher out of LSU. But 22 of 23 draft picks from the last 3 draft classes are still on this Buccaneers team. Another fun one, J-Lo, 26 of the last 30 of the 4 draft classes remain on this team. And then 44 out of the 53 players to make the Bucs active roster and practice squad, the number could grow and grow. But 44 of the 53, J-Lo, have either been drafted by Jason Licht, Greenberg, Spytech and Company, or have been signed as UDFAs by the Bucs front office, J-Lo. So how impressive is that? 22 of 23 players in the last 3 draft classes are here. 26 of 30 of the past 4, and 44 of 53 of the Bucs roster in total. You can't get much better than that, J-Lo.
No, you can't. I mean, kudos to Jason Licht and his staff. I mean, they have put together a really strong young roster. You know, bringing in the right players that Todd Bowles described. Not the best players, but the right players. And that's where Jason Licht is best at. You know, he'll go out there and find this young talent that's ready to go in there and play. I mean, look at Christian Izzy last year at the slot. He did a pretty decent job for the most part. And I think he's going to be 10 times better this year with the experience he's brought in. Also, you can't leave out those draftees. And how about Jose Ramirez? Shout out to that guy. He got cut last year.
Jose.
Got cut, last year because of injuries. He come back stronger this year, and now he's on the roster to where I think we got the best young pass rush in the NFL. Very underrated. I'll predict that right now. So shout out to Jason Licht for what he has done, bringing in the talent he's brought in for the most part. And plus, overall, I mean, he brought in the GOAT Tom Brady, which that's the most impressive thing. General managers can't pull that off. And that's why Jason Licht, to me, is not great. He's elite. He's an elite general manager in this business.
And one thing we could thank Lovie Smith for is Jason Licht, Gene. But go ahead.
I'm trying to think of other general managers that have done what Jason Licht has done and I'm only going to go back to 2020, the end of 2019 into 2020, what he's done, what he's been able to do personnel wise. And even, I mean, the fact that we were well over the cap, only had a little bit of money last year, and you were able to put together a team that went into the playoffs. And they won a game in the playoffs. So, I mean, that just tells you a lot about his personnel. It tells you a lot about his talent evaluators, which the Bucs have not had for years and years coming into Jason Licht's regime. Just so much, John Spytech and his crew and just everybody that they've put together. And it works in tandem with what Todd Bowles is wanting to do as the head coach. And that's the thing I think that gets missed is you see, you've seen it here. If you've been a Bucs fan for any period of time before Jason Licht, you know that the general manager was just like, oh, let's get this guy in. There was no rhyme or reason.
Mark Dominic.
Yeah, the rock star idiot. And when you look at what Jason Licht has done, it's been, with purpose. In the beginning, he was, he was a newbie coming in, but he picked it up. He got the right talent around him. He got the right coaches that would work with him. And, he's just kind of moved on from there. He's just continued to get better at what he does. So, of course, you're 100% spot on with that. I got to talk with him when we were in Germany, and we had a great conversation. And I was like, man, what you've done historically as a general manager compared to other general managers before you is it just makes you at the top of the list. I would say he's the greatest of all times. Rich McKay is a distant second, and it's kind of where you are.
And, there's been so many cool Jason Licht stories and moments. Remember when he first came to Tampa, wins were so rare here. Him and his kids would jump into the pool to celebrate victories with all their clothes on and post those videos on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you call it. And he's just been incredible over the years. I met him as well. I got to chat with him a little bit at the Arians Family Foundation golf outing a couple of years back. And he's one of those down-to-earth guys. He's there for the people. He doesn't care if you're the best player on his team, the lowest paid employee in Raymond James Stadium, or just a Bucs fan or podcaster in general. Jason Licht cares about you. You see it all the time on Twitter. He's always tweeting in front of the show's Bucs by 30. Zach Johnson, awesome man cave, crazy man cave. So incredible guy, incredible stuff. And as MK says, everyone needs to run the likes up. Yes, whether you're on Buc What Ya Heard or Buccaneers, hit the damn like button. Like. We do appreciate that greatly. Vita Vea, strongest player in Madden, not surprising to me. He should be very much so deserving of that. Vita eats, nuts and bolts for breakfast. So
Granites, grits, and gravy.
Yeah, he's an immovable object, man. If Licht wins another Super Bowl, should he be a Hall of Famer? Well, he's definitely Ring of Honor. Hall of Fame gets tricky with front office people. I think he's definitely deserving, but I feel like, I don't know.
I'm going to say this, and I'm glad that this point was brought up. When you look at what he came in and what he had to work with initially, cupboard was bare. Special teams, offensive line, defensive line, secondary, running back room. Cupboard was bare.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receivers, outside of Vincent Jackson, prior to Vincent Jackson would be one of the names that I can, remember. Outside of that, the Bucs just cupboard was bare. These guys were at best. How many players? I would say maybe Joe McCoy, Levante David are the two players that I know of that could go to any team in the NFL and potentially start or compete for starting position when, at that time when Jason Licht came in. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of anybody else on that team that I would really put.
Brian Price doesn't do it for you?
Yeah, there you go.
Austin Safiri Jenkins?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no.
Hey, you're right there, though, Gene, and you make a great point. And Jason Licht literally came in like a cupboard out of COVID. That thing was bare. It was like a grocery. And, it's a good analogy because if you went, especially in Chicago, but if you went to a grocery store during COVID, there was nothing but scraps on the damn ground. And that's what Jason Licht came into. And his first pick was Mike Evans. And ever since then, he's stacked and he's built and he's stacked and he's built. And how has he done it? Through the draft and through free agency for undrafted free agents. And what that opened up was Tom Brady going, holy shit, look at how much homegrown talent this Bucs team has. They have Evans. They have Godwin. They have Cam Brate. At the time, Ronald Jones was an up-and-coming running back. I know it's hard to believe. Offensive line, we had pieces in place. Defensively, as Gene alluded to, Levante David, Vita Vea. The list goes on, but Jason Licht built such an incredible roster that he had Tom Brady, the best player in NFL history, say, I want to go play for those guys. Oh, and by the way, we had such a good roster, Gene. Rob Gronkowski said, you know what, I'll come out of retirement and play for you guys. Because he didn't want to play for every team.
Yeah, exactly. And
Like,
I mean, even the quitter guy came in and got a little bit of shine before he left unceremoniously.
I love that name. Sad but true reality.
Listen, that's the only name he gets on Buc What You Heard. He's the quitter. His name will not be mentioned. Even his initials won't be mentioned. He's the quitter, and everybody knows who I'm talking about when I say that.
One hitter quitter, if you ask me.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to get raunchier than that, but we'll leave it at that. He's a one-hitter quitter. We'll leave it at that. Will Golston, maybe. Yeah, Golston was, but to Gene's point, he's not a guaranteed starter on a team.
I don't think he came into his own until a little bit later on, but he did enough to stay on the team, to hang around. So, yeah, I could kind of see that. But, the two guys that I can think of are Joe McCoy and Joe McCoy, who was under the Raheem Morris era, and then Levante David. Is Levante David under Schiano? It's under the Schiano era?
Yep, Levante David was drafted in the Schiano era, and so was Will Golston. But then everybody, and then Lovie Smith, and
So yeah, there you go. So again, there wasn't a whole lot when he got here, a couple pieces, but what he's built, the foundation he's built for that offensive line, the kicking. Just remember, Bucs fans, new Bucs fans probably don't remember Bucs had a kicking problem, a bad kicking problem, a kicking problem that made you want to drink. And my liver hated the kicking problem, but look where we are now. I mean, they've steadied the ship, man, and that's the beauty of it right here. This is one of the few seasons where I can say that Bucs fans come in, everything's kind of even keel. You know who your quarterback is. Your offensive coordinator is, in my opinion, an upgrade over what you had last year, and I'm sure he'll show that. I'm sure he won't let me down on that. But again, I feel like just what they've done each time has been an improvement. And the versatility of these players. If you look at a lot of the players that Jason Licht's brought in over the years, that there's that word, versatility. They can play in this position, or if you need them to move to another position, they're not just one-trick ponies, but they can do a whole lot more than your average player. So, again, I can't give this guy enough credit. And I can remember on Buc What You Heard, I lost a lot of followers because I would never badmouth Jason Licht, because Jason Licht had not gotten an opportunity to show what he can do. He didn't have a body of work to really go off of. Mm-hmm. And, it really was bad in 2016 when people were jumping out the window. But, consistently it got better.
Couldn't agree more, as we're joined by the Plunder, established in 23. Richard Taroka says, Happy Taco Tuesday. Same to you, Richard. We love our tacos here on the Buccaneers and Buc What Ya Heard. That's for sure. Can't wait for Bear Draft. We're almost there. I promise you. Just minutes away before we wrap up this Bucs talk and get to Bear talk. Light, after being stuck with either Winston or Mariota for 5 years. Yes, exactly. He was handcuffed, and you had to take a quarterback there. And to me, he still went with the right quarterback. I'd still rather have Jameis over Mariota, especially with how it went in Tampa. So, again, it was a coin flip. And, it was interesting to see my man Emo doing good things. Anthony, love you, buddy. We love you too, Emo. Hope you're doing well, brother, in the Chicagoland area. Always a pleasure, my man Emo. Pretty much like a distant cousin to me. So good stuff there. We appreciate you tuning in on Facebook, Emo, and we hope all is well with you and the family, of course. And speaking of the family, Gene, J-Lo, the only thing that Lovie Smith ever did, which I could consider him family for when he was here in Tampa, is help bring Jason Licht to the Buccaneers. And again, remember, Lovie was the head coach, a rare head coach before general manager hire. Lovie Smith was hired in the beginning of January, Jason Licht at the end of January. So, Gene, I'm not going to give Lovie all the credit there, but obviously the Bucs put faith into Lovie and helping kind of sign off on the GM. And you could find articles out there that say, hey, Lovie wasn't the sole reason or only reason, but he definitely helped connect the dots. So Gene, for that reason only, I'll give a little tap on the back to Lovie Smith for his head coach.
Oh yeah, I mean Lovie Smith and what he's done in his couple of tenures here. He was an assistant. He kind of he helped out prior to becoming a head coach. So I've actually got to meet him. Really nice guy. I think a lot of his philosophy is a little dated for what the NFL is right now or what football is right now, how fast the game is developed now. But in his time, I thought that he was in the right place at the right time with the Bears. He almost won a Super Bowl, or if they had a quarterback.
He was right there.
Yeah, they had a quarterback, it would have been a different story. But again, I'm not going to knock him. Just what he's part of that process to get us to where we are now. So I'm perfectly fine with him coming here, because without him, who knows? We could have probably got another Mark Dominic. Who knows?
Oh boy. All right, pod's over, guys. No, I'm kidding. But Mark Dominic, Gene, I mean, you bring up, we both brought him up now, but man, I mean, talk about a guy who he really didn't mean well, because, he knew Tampa had hard times getting big players into the city, but at the end of the day, every little big player, it just seemed to all go wrong, Gene.
You do realize that Mark Dominic was a swimmer in college. He had nothing to do with football.
Wait, that doesn't go hand in hand?
Yeah, it kind of does. No, it doesn't. But honestly, I listen to him. Well, I haven't heard him recently, but in years past, when
wasn't he on ESPN or NFL Network?
He
was on ESPN for sure.
Yeah, and you listen to this guy, you would think that this guy was just like a Hall of Fame general manager, and just like, oh my God, are you serious? He reminds me of Logan Hall. Just he hypes himself up like oof. So I'm probably have gone too far, overstepped a little bit.
No.
But all joking aside, we've never been a fan of Mark Dominic. There's never been any rhyme or reason to what he's done. I could go all the way back to Bruce Allen. I mean, and not to get on a tangent here, but I'm about to. What the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did after winning the Super Bowl, they did not address the trenches. Mm-hmm. So everything was sporadic here and there. If you look, what was the guy who may rest in peace? I can't think of his name. Passed away. Ended up.
Gaines Adams.
He was on the Bears. I remember he ended with the Bears.
Gaines Adams is the only real defensive line player where they were trying to address the trenches, but they never really got it down. They were just all over the place, and a lot of their picks were just like intermittent and going back to Bruce Allen, and then coming into Mark Dominic when they got when they got Gerald McCoy and they tried to
Adrian Claiborne.
Adrian Claiborne. I think Claiborne was a Schiano guy. I thought, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
20.
He was 2010, J-Lo? 2011. 2011, yeah.
Yeah, 10 was Gerald McCoy, and then Adrian Claiborne was 11.
Yep.
Okay, so it was that's right, because he came out the same time as Cam Jordan. Okay, you're right. Okay.
And remember, it was a little shocking when we did go Claiborne, because I did love Adrian Claiborne. Don't get me wrong. He was a hell of a human. He gave it his all, but he had that disorder where his arms were a little short, his limbs were a little shorter, so it kind of held him, like he was always a good, reliable depth piece, but to me, he had the player ability and psyche.
I think it was a reach. He was a reach at where he was drafted. So yeah.
Well, think about it.
And Ryan Kerrigan was in that draft as well. Remember, he went after Claiborne. I think Ryan Kerrigan out of Purdue. So it's like you remember some of the Brian Arapco was that draft. I think
That's what I'm saying. Cam Jordan was right there, and that's why Cam. And I keep saying that's why Cam Jordan hates Tampa, is because they passed him over for Adrian Claiborne. Which
I will throw this out there too. About Mark Dominic, when he let Michael Bennett go through free agency, I was so upset because that man was a playmaker, and look what happened. He signed with Seattle,
and he wanted to be here. That's the kicker.
Oh, yeah, Jerry McCoy was pissed. He was not happy about that. He made it known that, wow, you let my teammate go, and all that, where we would try relying on young men in the trenches between And we can't forget about the other guy who played for Clemson, won the second round. He was supposed to go number 1 overall, and he fell down.
Yeah, he got hurt. He hurt his knee. What was his name?
I can't remember at the top of my head.
Wait, who are you talking about? Sorry, I was looking up something.
The Clemson guy in the second round we got after we took.
Daquan Bowers.
Daquan Bowers, yeah. Daquan Bowers, yeah.
They try to go young in the trenches, and they let Michael Bennett go, which was a huge mistake because to me, Michael Bennett was the guy on the pass.
Well, he got into it with Shiano, and that's really what ended up ending him because that whole toes on the line thing, and Bennett didn't take too kindly to that. So, J-Lo, they did let Bennett go, but remember, it was kind of because of an internal riffraff more so than, hey, we don't like this player. We don't like this guy. It was more so, hey, I don't like the head coach. The head coach is like, hey, I don't like him. And it kind of just, well, see you later. Both sides were like, all right, well, we're moving on. And remember, Daquan Bowers was supposed to be the first overall pick of the draft before he got hurt going into that year. And when the Bucs drafted him, Gene, it was like, okay, and then he ended up being nothing.
Yeah. I just don't think he ever fully recovered from that injury. Whether it's mentally, I think a lot of it was, a lot of he had the physical tools, but it just mentally he wasn't that guy. So.
And Gene, I think you brought up one more good point earlier. You said this is one of the more ready rosters the Bucs ever had, one that makes you feel comfortable at least. And Tom Moore agreed with you. He was on the drive with T-Crass today. 85-year-old Tom Moore, assistant coach for the Bucs, on WDAE with T-Crass, and he said, T-Crass was like, how do you feel about the season? Tom Moore said, this is one of the best times I've ever felt in terms of, hey, I think we have a team that's ready to roll. I'm confident in the coaching staff. I'm confident in the players. So, Gene, if a guy like Tom Moore is saying that, he's been around teams with Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Carson Palmer. I think we're in pretty good hands if you got Tom Moore endorsing you.
And just look at the players that are brought in. These are guys that want to play football. These are book smart. I mean, look at Tariq Funderburk when he came in. Mm-hmm. Book smart. He's wanting to learn more about the game. Brewer came in. It's almost like they told each other what they were going to say, and they said the same thing. But it's refreshing to see that they want to play football. They want to get better. They want to hone their craft, and they're in a good place, and why not be, with a head coach like Todd Bowles, who is just a really good defensive mind to learn from. So I really believe that, this team on both sides of the ball, they are really, it's good to see that. In years past, you really haven't seen that. Somebody's always complaining, or somebody's always unfollowing a team on Instagram, or somebody's always liking Eagles comments and stuff like that. And then, here we are, once you've addition by subtraction, once you kind of remove those headaches, I really see big things for this team.
Speaking of addition by subtraction, Kellen Winslow, I'm sorry. I liked Winslow at the time, but I would not take what that guy has to say with, he's kind of like Bucco's man, Mr. Quitter,
the quitter. Yeah.
in terms of things they would do off the field. And don't get me wrong, both great talents on the field, but if you're not aware what Kellen Winslow's been up to the past 5 years, I'd probably stay away. But Tom Moore at Iowa, I believe, right? What wasn't that at Iowa? Tom Moore was also a quarterback. I think Tom Moore was in a fraternity at Iowa and everything. I mean, this guy was crazy out there. I actually met Tom Moore in Indianapolis a couple of years back. Incredible guy and very cool. He was, still signing autographs and stuff and whatnot, but it was pretty incredible. So BB King, I don't think Moore ever played in the NFL. I know he was a longtime coach in the NFL, but he was an Iowa grad assistant after he got done playing at Iowa. So unless he was on the Colts preseason or practice squad, something along those lines, he went immediately from playing at Iowa to coaching at Iowa. So, interesting enough there. But nonetheless, Tom Moore, legendary. Speaking of legendary, we're going to get to Bear Bracketology with Gene from Buc What Ya Heard right now, right here. And then after that, we're going to do a couple more segments, get into big names, cut around the NFL, and our final words. But, Gene, without further ado, I've been ready all week. I've been tasting beers all weekend. I'm ready for some beer bracketology with Gene.
All right.
As my mic falls, that's how excited I am.
Exactly. So in the first round, we had Modelo Special J-Lo's beer versus PBR Bud Cannabis. And I had to go with Modelo on this one, my friend. So I picked Modelo to move on. And go ahead and move them down here.
Well, that's going to be a strong out. I'm guessing J-Lo's going to pick Modelo as well. So,
duh.
So Modelo's moving on to the next round.
Woo woo.
And then we have Miller LC Leprechaun versus Guinness. And I actually picked Guinness in an upset special because I don't know what it was. The Guinness was cold, it was flowing, and I drank quite a few of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and move Guinness on to the next round as well.
J-Lo?
Yeah, I'm all about Guinness, so we can move on to the next one.
Well, I'm not even going to vote. You two just finish.
No, come on. Well, we're okay between Broken Skull and Cigar City.
No, I'm kidding around, but I will say this. Guinness is great, but again, one of those beers, I feel like once I have one or two, but did you see how cool they were making the Guinnesses in Ireland this past weekend with college football there, FSU, Georgia Tech? They had the FSU and Georgia Tech logos on the beer foam. That's cool.
Dude.
And makes me want to drink a Guinness. So for that reason,
I've actually been to the distillery over in Dublin. So
is it true that Guinnesses are better in Ireland?
Yeah, they are. They actually are. I don't know what it is. There's I don't want to say preservative. There's something that's different here in the U.S. versus the ones over there because you can knock down. I mean, you could just knock them down, pint after pint. What did Seamus say? Banger after banger. You can knock them down, pint after pint after pint, and you're still on your feet. So I don't know what it is.
After burger.
But yeah, I don't know what it was. Normally, I'm good with Miller in the football season. If it's ice cold, I knock them down. But this time around, when it was a Saturday and kind of getting myself going and getting ready to play some video games, and I grabbed the Miller first and knocked it down and waited a few minutes and then tried the Guinness, and I was like, oh man, a Guinness is nice. So I had to go get another one. So for me, Guinness won that round. Yeah.
And for those wondering, Miller, I assume we're just going, it's Miller High Life, Miller Light, any of the basic Millers besides MTV. We had that one in, but I'll go Guinness as well. And I just think it's one of those, it's deserving of a victory beer because of the taste, right? Like, you're not going to pound Guinnesses, but if you need a victory beer, yeah, Irish car bombs, those get tricky.
Oh, yeah. You just took the words right out of my mouth right there.
Those get tricky, man. You drink a couple of those, and next thing you know, you're walking like, a little crooked or something.
There you go.
You're walking like Pat McAfee out of that Iowa bar. Or not I keep saying Ireland bar this past weekend. But, so clean sweep for Guinness, it seems.
All right. And the last one, and I'll leave this. I'm going to start with you, Tones. Broken Skull versus Cigar City. Highlight.
Tampa's finest. It's brewed in Tampa. It's bottled right there. It's meant for Florida. I love Tampa. Highlight is expanding too. If you go to Miller's in the Chicagoland area, they got it. If you go to our liquor stores, they got it. Any beer that can start as a local and make its way into
got it in London, believe it or not.
There you go. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love Broken Skull IPA. You get the Stone Cold factor. It's a great beer. It's good. It's going to get you messed up after a couple of them, that's for sure. But it's just hard for me to have that surpass the other.
All right, J-Lo, what say you?
This has been my toughest one, but I'm going to go right with Tones on this one and go with the cigar for sure. The
All
cigar
right.
one is a Tampa local, and I'm all support about the local stuff. Sorry, Stone Cold, but I'm gonna have to go
That's
with
Joey's beer. Joey's beer is down and out. Hey, don't feel bad. Mine got a limit. I think mine was the first beer eliminated in all
Yeah,
brackets.
you and Joshua Cole Allen, yeah.
Yeah, but
So we are down to the final three, and this is what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna try all three. We're gonna go. They're all gonna go against each other, basically. So we have in the finals. We have Modelo, Guinness, and Cigar City Highlight are gonna be the final three.
Oh
And
God.
wait, aren't
this
we missing one? Are we missing one? Or
are
what?
we?
Or is that right? I think we might be missing one matchup from this week. Cause shouldn't it be Final Four? Or am I tweaking?
Yeah. Hold on one second. Maybe What am I missing here?
Let me see if because I know
Give me a sec.
there were
What?
originally,
Wasn't there like a Bud Light that passed on?
or I could be wrong though. Was
No.
it 12?
No. Hold on one second. I'm looking because
I could be wrong.
Oh no. I'm pulling it up right now. So we are going to the. We're actually going to the review here.
Oh,
So
I found what it was actually. It was actually High Life is actually against Space Dust, and Broken Skull is actually against Land Shark, I believe.
Oh, that's what it was.
Hey, if that's the case, I'm keeping it easy. Give me Broken Skull over Land Shark, and give me Highlight over Space Dust. I'll keep it nice
Okay.
and easy.
Yeah.
I agree.
Space
I agree
Dust.
with Tones.
Okay.
I like Space Dust and Land Shark, but I'm going to rebuttal a rematch next time in the Final Four. Give me Broken Skull. So, Joey, you could stop crying, bud. Your Broken Skull seems to be moving on. J-Lo, you agreed?
Yes, agreed.
All right, so Broken Skull is moving on. Joey can stop crying.
Sorry for that. I'm glad we got that fixed.
Hey, no, there was only a challenge flag. That's all.
That's what we needed right there. You
So
know
Final
what?
Four.
I've actually got a challenge flag. I'm gonna bring it out. I'm gonna bring it out next one just in case we need to challenge something.
Hey, Red Stripe, that's a Caribbean beer. That is a good beer. I do like that
I
one.
wish somebody would have named. We've given people every opportunity. I mean, wait, put your beer in here. So
We only gave people 2 months, I think. At least 2 months.
So we are down to the Final Four. Down to the Final Four. It's crazy.
Should we do it a little different for the Final Four? Should we do like a fatal four-way?
We should do a fatal four-way. That's what we are going to call this. The fatal four-way.
Because if we put us on projection here next week, we need our beer by
Yeah,
a week
we
from Sunday.
need exactly. We do. We need our beer. So we're going fatal four-way here.
And no offense, if we did Highlight against Broken Skull, I think, we pretty much answered that one already. Hey, Lowenbrow wants a rematch. Collusion. You know what, guys? If you see our PayPals and Venmos, there might be. No, I'm kidding. No collusion. We're happy to drink all the beer in the world. We just love this great idea by Gene. So, Gene, thanks again, man. This has been great. It's been
this has been fun, man. So we are down to the Final Four. And again, folks, if you just joined us, it's going to be Broken Skull. Let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this. Well, it's a fatal four-way, so that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you think.
So it's going to be Broken Skull versus Modelo Especial versus Guinness versus Cigar City Highlight.
It's a good one too, because all the
Showdown.
beers are. It's a little bit different, right? You got Guinness, the thicker, creamy beer. You get Highlight, the local beer. You get Broken Skull, the IPA. This
is the beauty of it. You have to think about what kind of beer could I just drink during a game, and that has to be a factor in what you're selecting.
Yeah, that's why Pumpkin, bowed out quick. So
yeah, you had to go.
Hey, JC, at least you tried, bud. We'll give you an A for effort. But Gene, I think this is going good. Next up, we got to work on the Buc What You Heard of Buccaneers cookbook. That's what we need to do.
We really need to, man. We need to make this thing happen.
Oh, there goes J-Lo. But Gene, me and you are here for a couple more minutes. We got our roster cut breakdowns, final words. Gene, I'm just going to name a couple surprising cuts to me and get your reactions here. But real quick here, some of the following guys were notable cuts from around the league today. Sean Clifford got cut by the Packers. He was just taken last year, quarterback. Kadarius Toney released by the Chiefs.
The stone-handed devil, yeah.
Butterfingers. Justin Ross, once a big-time wide receiver in college, got released by the Chiefs as well. Out of Clemson, the Panthers released Terrence Marshall, wide receiver out of LSU. Other guys, Zach Triner, we talked about, Super Bowl champ here in Tampa. The Browns are releasing their third-round pick from last year, defensive tackle Siake Ika, so a little bit surprising there. Giants are waiving wide receiver Isaiah Hodgkins, who was a fan favorite. Jaguars, Trey Flowers, veteran D-back, released Kareem Jackson. The Bills released a 15-year veteran defensive back, Gene. So out of those names or any others, any real surprises there, or is this kind of another day in the land of the NFL to you and nothing really too shocking?
No, not really. This is I am shocked that Kadarius Toney was even lasted as long as he did. The guy is so inconsistent. He's kind of a head case, and he's so hit and miss that this league. I mean, with the games that we have coming up, you want your best players out there, and I just feel like there are times where that his head is in a game in one game, and then it's not in another one. And I think that's why Juju Smith-Schuster ended up coming back to Kansas City. And that says a lot if you get rid of Kadarius Toney and you've got Juju Smith-Schuster coming back. So it's going to be interesting to see what they say.
You make a great point. Juju Smith did go back there. And I was telling my buds the other day, I think they could cut Kadarius Toney. I think that's what this could be because of my buddy's like, I think Rashee Rice is getting suspended. No, if you know Roger Goodell, he won't suspend Rashee Rice because the Chiefs are the NFL's machine. But that's another story. A.J. Dillon season-ending IR. That's a big blow for the Packers. Gene, real quick, who can beat the Chiefs in the AFC? Name one team. I'll go ahead. I'll say I think a healthy Bengals could beat the Chiefs this year with Joe Burrow. What say you?
I believe a healthy Miami Dolphins team is another team that will give them fits. I like their running back room. I think they've gotten some guys healthy. It's going to be interesting to see what their offensive line looks like. But at the end of the day, I felt like Kansas City should have beat the Dolphins should have beat Kansas City last year. I know it was cold, but this all part of the NFL. You got to go in there and do your thing. So I don't know. I just feel like they should have, but they didn't.
And this is why we play football. We have Miami. We have Buffalo in the comments. We have Ravens in the comments. I say Cincy. Gene, although KC's obviously the favorite in the NFL at this point, not just the AFC, plenty of teams could still knock them down, and that's the beauty of football. It's a year-to-year league, and as unfortunate as it is, one big injury can make the Chiefs like one of the worst teams in the league, no offense.
Yeah,
if Mahomes
100%.
goes down, well, I mean, that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. One other thing, Gene, I want to discuss before we get to our final words on the Buccaneers Buc What You Heard extravaganza on this Taco Tuesday. Texans, they could be another.
That's a great one. BB King, that's great.
That's just the parody of the NFL, man. You have all these young quarterbacks. You have the Jets too, right? If Aaron Rodgers plays his A game, if Garrett Wilson balls out. And I'm not a huge Jets guy. They need a lot to go right. But bottom line is you never damn know in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's why they play. Even the Colts, if Anthony Richardson stays healthy, you never know. I'm not saying they could.
I really don't know what to expect from Anthony Richardson just because we didn't get to see enough of him last year. And I don't know what to expect from him coming into this season, just with that injury and, really not getting a whole lot of playing time, actual playing time, with the ones. I don't know what to expect from him, but it's going to be interesting to watch it. I'm all here for it. That is a division that I'll be definitely keeping an eye on, but it's going to be a fun season.
Couldn't agree more. And Bet says, no, not the Jets. They got Breece Hall. They got Mike Williams from the Chargers. They got Garrett Wilson. I'm not saying they will beat the Chiefs, but I'm saying if they are
Well,
healthy,
again, the best ability is availability. When you talk about Mike Williams, that's a guy that just, I mean, him and what's that? The
even
guy that
Rodgers nowadays.
who's the guy in Chicago now that thinks he's better than Mike?
Oh, Keenan Allen.
Yeah, that idiot. That guy he can't stay healthy. You got to hear his big mouth all the time, and then when the team needs him, he's on the sidelines watching the game like a fan. So
Not good. As Gene said a lot today, availability is the best ability in the NFL. I mean, every sport that's all true, but in the NFL more than ever, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
For certain positions. Gene, one more thought before final words. Is this Bucs 53-man roster what we're going to see a week from Sunday, or do you think it's remaining fluid right now? And even if it's one tweak or two tweaks, do you think we see a tweak?
I'm sure you'll see a tweak at some point. I don't think this is the final. This is what it's going to finally look like. I am sure there's somebody out there that maybe Tampa is looking at that got cut that they could potentially bring in or sneak onto their practice squad. So we're going to see. And again, I just take a step back and enjoy this as a fan. We're spoiled having a Mike Evans, having a Chris Godwin, having a Vita Vea, a Kalijah Cansey, just guys that are going out there balling out like they're supposed to. Kellen Winslow, I just can't believe I said that.
Hey, it happens. But
yeah.
since you brought him up,
Antoine Winfield is what I meant to say. But just having players like that on the team, you get spoiled with it.
And since you brought him up, Pops did text in the show. He said, do we know if Cansey will be 100% for Washington? Thank you, Pops, for the text. I don't know if he'll be 100%, but he's going to suit up for sure, Gene.
Oh, absolutely. Him and I think Yaya Diaby is trending towards possibly starting too, from what I saw on Twitter.
That would be amazing if we.
And it's not X's Twitter, by the way. Just FYI.
Yep, Twitter. And Pops, thanks again for the text, but we believe Cansey will be at least 98% ready, and he'll be in there week one. Remember, last year he tried to force his way on the field week one and got taken out. This year, I think he did the smart thing, sat out a little bit. Now he'll be ready to roll week one. So awesome stuff there. We had a great chat today. We had everyone rolling. Bucs stand pat. This roster is less fluid than ever. I mean, I think I agree, but at the end of the day, if Jason Licht makes a move, I'm going to back him on it. I'm not going to doubt him on it. I don't think he makes a move, but if he does, let's remember, he's trying to better the roster. And again, we've seen trades. Grant Stewart a couple of years ago got traded during this time when people thought the roster was firming up and stuff, Gene. So, again, I don't think it happens, but you never know if a lower-end D-back gets moved for a draft pick or something like that, because we do have 11 D-backs, so you never know. Man.
Hey, I'm happy with that, too, so let's roll. Go Bucs.
Me too, Gene. Final words for you, brother, on Buc What You Heard, Buccaneers. Are we going to be live Thursday, Gene?
We will be live on Thursday. I have some secret special guests that are coming on, so be sure to check us out.
And I thought our Dolphin guest last Thursday was phenomenal. We had a great Dolphins lady on Buc What You Heard and Buccaneers last Thursday. You guys killed it, Gene. She was a hoot.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun.
Hey, I think I know Dolphins fans. Between her, between Dolphin and my buddy on Twitter as well. I won't get into his Twitter name because it's a little out there. But between those three Dolphins fans, they are a hoot. My final word is join us Thursday, 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. Special guest on the Buc What You Heard Buccaneers podcast, led by Gene. And remember, right now, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday is our structure. Mondays and Tuesdays are interchangeable. But Saturday, Thursday, and Monday or Tuesday, join us weekly on the Buccaneers on Buc What You Heard. And as Gene Deckeroff says, fire the damn cannons, go Bucs, touchdown Tampa Bay, Bucky Irvin up the middle. Gene, love you, brother. God bless. Stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon, my man.
All right, guys. Everybody have a good night.
Buc What You Heard. Remember that? BB King saying it. Buc What You Heard, man. That'll never get old. I can't. There we go. Go Guinness. Go Bucs. Go everything. Gene, breadwinners Saturday. We're gonna pick 4 more. I'll talk to you then, my man.
Yeah, definitely, man. Might have you put in a bet for me.
Yeah. Hey, text me. If I would have parlayed our 4 breadwinners, I would have been a big breadwinner.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
We'll do it again Saturday. Thanks again. Super Showdown Saturday, Thursday night with Gene. Taco Tuesdays here on the Buccaneers. Can't get enough of us. See you guys later. Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buc fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.